we're looking at some of the big last quarter moments. What about Max Gawn? He was off for a portion of the game, had to get a head check. He was huge, kicked that big bomb. And then Geelong responded, and they did respond all night, but I felt like it was hard work for Geelong for most of the night. Terrific kick from Stengel there to Henry. He kicked 3 in the absence of Hawkins and Cameron, which we'll get to. But I just thought Melbourne defensively, that kick from Cameron was his best moment for the night as he finds close, but he was inaccurate and his accuracy deserted him. Windsor here, he's arrived, this guy, first-year player. They drafted him early and he went back and slotted this one, Brownie, and he was fired up. But how good Melbourne defensively to keep Geelong to 66 points and hold on. Guthrie was enormous for the Cats last night, Lordo.
Yeah, and I think it's something for the rest of the competition to have a look at and say, how can we stand up defensively against this team? You know, Holmes and Brad Close and these guys like Myers and Jeremy Cameron, they've run into space for too long. Because look at the numbers around this. They just didn't allow time and space.
Goodwin had a huge night in the coach's box.
He's such a good defensive coach.
Did anyone tip Melbourne?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, not many would have, TJ, with the role that they are on, but they're a good side, Melbourne, and they'll be thereabouts again. But Lever and May, they do it time and time again, and they were giant killers last night. Not only did they beat their opponents, like Tom McDonald, we've got to mention too. So Tom McDonald beat Jeremy Cameron hands down. Stephen May gets the better of Tom Hawkins time and time again. But he had 25 disposals and 13 marks, mate. So he's not just beaten him. Lever, 24 disposals and 8 marks as well. So they got right on top.
It's a hell of a statement, isn't it?
It is.
It is, and led by Max Gawn. So you want your big players to put themselves into positions to get the ball when it counts. And his last quarter work was phenomenal, Max Gawn. So 9 disposals in that last quarter. He took 3 marks, had a big smother, which kept the ball in their half of the ground. Obviously, the goal from 55 was great, but when you needed someone, and in the bounces, he was pushing the ball forward and following up. I mean, it's all very good to get the ball when you're out on your own and your team's winning by 10 goals, but time and time again, when a player like Max Gawn does it when the game is right at the death, and he does it every time. He's brilliant.
He's got 6 All-Australians already. He's going to get 7, and he's only had 2 down games this year. The opening round against Melbourne and round 5 against Brisbane. Those other 6 games he's played, I would argue it's been as good and as impactful as he's been at any stage of his career.
And they're so reliant on him, aren't they? Yeah. Like, if he goes down there in trouble. But Geelong have got a huge issue in ruck, and we've said this for how long, and they've done well, and they've won a premiership with Stanley, but he continues to be exposed. He was exposed against Pitnet last week, and then last night he just couldn't go with Cameron. So they've got Conway, the young ruckman, waiting to go. They've been really patient with him, but it's probably time that they give this guy Conway a decent run at it, because Reece Stanley at the moment, he's costing them, and he cost them badly last night.
Sure, they probably were worried that Conway isn't quite ready to take on Max Gawn last night. Tom Hawkins, he is a concern, a major concern for Geelong, and here is his last month, and to his credit, he's still unselfish, so he could have had a shot or 2 last night, and he still does what's right for the team. But I admire him because, you know, at his age, the full forward is the toughest spot to play, because if you don't have speed as a forward, you're in trouble. You can play midfield, you can play back, but as a key forward, once you lose that bit of speed and mobility, you're in trouble.
So what are you saying?
So what I'm saying is he looks like he's lost that off the mark. And it can happen overnight for you, like it can happen in an off-season, and he's really struggling to get off his opponents. He'll still keep playing, he'll still contribute, but it's a tough position to play, and I've been there, where mentally you can't quite get off your opponent.
Is it an elephant in the room for them, Lloyd? Because of the champion that he is, he's about to take over Joel
Well, he's got a
Selwood's
massive media
games
day
record
coming up this week, as a matter of fact, because of that.
Yeah, so like he keeps playing because he's Tom Hawkins, but it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger if he doesn't impact.
He did kick 4 and 4 the 2 weeks before that, so the run of 4 is pretty ordinary, but before that he was okay.
And they can manage him, I guess, for the year. They can rest him, which they've already done this year.
Do we not just accept the fact that that is his role now?
Yeah, but you've still got to contribute, don't you? Like, it becomes a big story. 4 weeks in a row has never happened before.
But they weren't worried about that when they were... I mean, this is their first loss last night. We're only talking about it today. We didn't talk about it last week.
But we're only not talking about it because they're on top. If they were a side middle or lower, he would have been a massive story 2 weeks ago. But I think it's when you win, things, people don't talk about.
They were winning with him playing that role.
I know, but that's where he's been fortunate.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone's got their say on it, and certainly Chris Scott did as well post-match.
My suggestion would be, you've watched him at the peak of his powers, and now the observation is, he's not quite what he was. But when he kicked a couple of bags of 4 early in the year, he looked a little bit more like himself to me. So maybe a little bit off, but it's not a physical thing. But again, we've been clear, we'll manage him through the year.
As I said, big week coming up for Tom Hawkins with that milestone coming up, and I understand he'll be surrounded by a lot of past champions there.